it, baby. We good, Slick?
I'm good.
Yeah?
Let's
I
do
don't know
it.
about the energy level, but we're gonna just dive in, baby. Come on. One time, Dan. One time, baby. Dan Slick Podcast, episode 10.
Let's
Slick,
go.
How we feeling, baby?
The big X.
Big X. Yeah, that's right. Roman numerals. So new segment today, either or. So tired of arguing about whatever the hell I argue about. Where am I wrong? Either or. So like, you got two options here. You're either in a shitty relationship for the rest of your life until the day you die, or you never get the chance to be in a relationship at all and feel the ups and the downs, or you got only downs. So which is better? Either or.
Oh man.
I guess it's like a shitty relationship. It's not really shitty though.
Yeah. It's like abusive, like net extremely negative.
Yeah.
I feel like it's better just not to be in one, and I think a lot of people are kind of coming to that realization. Maybe that's why so many people are lonely. There's like they know too much about how relationships can go wacky. I don't know. Maybe that's part of the like the kind of the hesitancy. I don't know. I feel like if you're just like cold turkey, it's kind of like it's like a sense that you're losing. It's like one of your like experiential senses just like cut off, like you're blind in a sense to one part of experience. So I don't know. Maybe, and maybe if that sense is cut off, then you're having a heightened sense of other parts of your experience. Maybe I don't know. Did that make sense at all? You froze in a very pensive. Oh, okay, there you are. Did you hear me?
Yeah, it's a rough start, but we're gonna keep trucking, we're gonna keep cranking. Yeah, I would say that I tend to agree with you on the relationship front. I feel like it's interesting how expectation setting is a factor here, right? It's like if you don't know what something is like, then maybe it's just like good to never have experienced it. But once you have like a good relationship, it's really tough to go and like not be in one. But if you just never have that good first one, then it's kind of like relationships they're kind of stupid anyways. I don't really interested in one.
Yeah, it makes me think of like, well, how much of our tendencies for those sorts of human interactions are shaped by our really early developmental experiences, like the relationship there. So
that's a good one. Yeah, I'm big on the idea of nurture being overrated too. Maybe that's where am I wrong? I think nurture is super overrated. I think it's a lot of it is pretty much nature. So that's the next one.
All right. Okay. So here's your situation, Dan, and you'll probably be able to name the main logical fallacy. So
I don't know if I can. But
there's this businessman speaking on campus. He's like coming for a keynote speaker, and the first question he gets asked by a student is, "Oh, sir, how could you possibly stand up here and speak at a university such as ours when your company sells these weapons to this country? There's war torn. They're supporting these terrible things." And the businessman replies, "Well, how could you stay at an institution that is invested in this company?" And so, what's the logical fallacy of the businessman's reply?
Of his reply, it's kind of like a deferment of accountability fallacy. I don't know. There's two errors in judgment doesn't make yours more right.
Yeah, it's kind of it. It's like a branch within the ad hominem where the reply is like, oh well, you also do that, and the fancy term is tu quoque. So it's like the Latin, the Latin you too. So it's like just because I am guilty, like I'm just going to defend myself by just pointing out the guilty things of other people and like blame deflect. I think Donald Trump is great at doing this, by the way.
Sorry, I didn't hear that last one.
I think Donald Trump is great at doing this. It's like he gets criticized and he's just like,
good.
oh well, you know what? And he just like punches back 5 times harder.
Yeah, it's so good. He's so good at kind of putting a little cloud and haze over things. Kind of the what about it, right? It's the what about this?
Yeah,
what
it's
about this?
totally
What are we even talking about anymore?
about
It's like on the next. Yeah, it's quite an interesting strategy on that front.
Do you have the kryptonite for this? Do you have a kryptonite for this logical fallacy, Dan?
It's a tough one, man. It's kind of like it's kind of like the childhood argument. It's like, well, you're a dummy pants. No, you're a dummy pants. Like, I don't know. It's tough to come back from.
Totally.
I don't have the exact rationale. I think it's like about being able to talk over a period of time and have a long conversation about it. That's the only way I can see to solve it.
That was a deeply intellectual move when someone says, "Oh, you're stupid." Well, you're more stupid. And it's just like
you're more stupid. That's right. All right, the butterfly effect. Let's see what we got here. So the one thing I can think of, speaking of your boy Donald here, is no coronavirus. How does that affect the 2020 election? I don't know if it does from like the Democrats getting the person that they ended up nominating just yesterday, but does it change the dynamic of what the Republicans pitch? I think yes, but what if it didn't happen? What would we be looking like?
Yeah, so I think that first, I don't think Biden would be polling as high as he is if the stock market were like super high and there weren't like millions of people who were unemployed. So
yeah, I know that's
100%. I don't think it affects the nomination. I think it does affect the polling and it does affect, like you said, the strategies that people are using. Because and there's just like there's much less fodder of like tangible. This has affected everybody's lives kind of thing, which like COVID provides the Biden campaign. Because there's like guys like look at all the other countries going through this. Look at the U.S. It's pretty obvious we had poor leadership during this time.
Yeah, we have to
I think it's really hard to argue against that.
Yeah, and the Democrats can't seem to like put a cogent like message around that, but that's a separate issue. It's interesting. I think for me, it's crazy the disconnect between the actual performance of say the stock market and the actual the reality on the ground. It's like talk about
it's like how many people are invested in like none of Trump's supporters have stocks. Like, no idea. Like I don't know. It's crazy. And if you see like I saw this recent statistic someone shared of like some of the richest people in America and like how they've done since mid-March and like their stocks have recovered tremendously. And it's like, well, what about all the normal people? Like have their jobs come back? How has this affected them? So it's just like
more normal people, man. Andrew Yang.
Yang gang baby. Yang gang baby.
Yeah, Yang gang. There's a lot there, but we can dive into that next time.
I have tremendous respect for him for diving in, diving in as a rational person into politics. It's like that's a
feeding. We need more of it. We need more Yangs. More Yangs.
All right, magic one. Okay, so also COVID related. We're getting very topical today, but that's okay.
I guess so.
This is kind of the idea of like when you have a big crisis, you want to leverage it for like in the best way you can. So my question to you is how should the world at large leverage this crisis to change the education system? Because we're being forced to change right now. But how moving forward, what should we take from this?
Yeah, it's a big one. The first things that come to my mind are an impetus on mindfulness practice. I don't exactly know how you start to implement that, and then also leaning more on technology. Obviously, but those are the first thing. The second thing is something that you just like physically have to do, or else nothing will get done. And the first one is more of a way to deal with potential negative emotions that are outcomes of more isolation and less time with friends, less time with teachers, what have you. People who are more in the role model space. But I don't exactly know how you start to implement that. I guess that would beg the question of what I define as mindfulness, but I don't know if I can do that in 75 seconds or less.
Yeah.
What do you think?
I don't know. So here's my hope. So one thing that I really like about online instruction is like before COVID, there was like, you've heard of masterclass, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so like I really enjoyed that where you get an expert to just like teach it really well,
Yeah.
and then the rest of that is just like, okay, well, how do you motivate someone and hold them accountable to doing the thing? So
Right.
so you get the experts teaching, and then you have like other people just kind of holding people accountable and helping people explore their interests and things like that. So I kind of hope that that's where education goes, where we have like, okay, like, as a teacher, I'm in the classroom to help clarify any misunderstandings from this like the nationwide rockstar expert teacher
That's
of this
interesting,
topic. Does that make sense? I just
Yeah,
think,
I
you need the like national expert on something. Just like
National expert.
exactly.
I like it, man. Closing words, hot takes. Yeah, it's gonna be. It's kind of like the flip the classroom idea. No, that's kind of hot in the streets, right? Like
Yeah.
do your homework in the class, and then like do like the online learning in.
Yeah, I think
that's like kind of your homework.
My big thing is just like there's some I don't know what the best way to teach like the fundamentals are, because like
Yeah.
if you think like for language, take language and math, which math is its own language, right?
Yeah.
You need to know how to spell words and communicate. I don't know the best way to teach, like I really don't know, like I don't know if the way I was taught is the best way, and I also don't know another way that does it very well besides
Yeah.
just like hold kids, like we need your kids, I'm sorry, like they're not going to learn this anywhere else, like
Yeah.
I mean, obviously there's some people who like could teach their kids at home, and I think the homeschool movement's very interesting too, but I don't know, it's a whole nother can of worms, you know.
Yeah, that's definitely a can of worms, bro. Homeschooling is pretty wild. Yeah, you could see more of a resurgence in that, I suppose.
Oh,
I
I
guess you
bet
kinda
I imagine homeschooling enrollment, like I bet some parents were just like, yeah, you guys are going to be homeschooled this whole year. Like, and I bet that's like a decision many families made, and
Yeah.
I understand it completely. I think it'll be great.
Yeah.